So, understanding the elements of effective and appropriate research, reorganize methods of selecting and refining a topic for research. A research paper is the final product of a research, a critical thinking, and a composition about a specific topic. So, the goal is to answer the specific question within a more general topic. So the steps are to decide the general topic or a subject to investigate. You have to create the research question. You also have to find resources or search for suppliers of the reliable information. So when you decide on a general topic, you have to determine the purpose of writing and the audience. Will it be persuasive or is it going to be informative? The informative, you have to give unbiased facts, and if it's persuasive, you have to create an opinion on the topic. You also have to brainstorm in order to come up with ideas, and then you have to narrow down the list of ideas from the brainstorm according to what interests you. So you have to create the research question. And in order to create the research question, you have to do a preliminary research. And that is a research before you do research, is research on the research topic. So you prepare the research um, before you start recording information about your project. Um, and you have to use this to narrow down your choices of topics to focus on. It is the specific focus or controlling idea of the writing project. And the research question gives the research direction. So when you find sources or search for suppliers of the reliable information, you have to analyze the research. And when you do this, you have to examine the details of the information and the evidence. And you got to also create a bibliography, which is a list of sources. And you got to use up-to-date verifiable resources too. So you also, some more steps are to take notes on and take notes and create an outline. Then you outline it. You write a rough draft and you revise and edit and then you publish it. So when you find the resources that you're going to do, you have to analyze it, which is to examine the information and the evidence, and you got to create a bibliography. Like I said, is a list of sources. Um, you have to take notes and create an outline. And an outline is a general plan for the order of of the research paper. It includes the thesis statement. A thesis statement is the main focus of the entire paper. So to choose the topic, then you have to choose the topic of each paragraph. Every single paragraph has to have a topic. So after that, you're going to write a rough draft and then you're going to revise and edit. And I talked about that, revising and editing, in the last um, video. And then you're going to publish it. And you publish it and you have to add the title pages, the visuals, the subtitles, and then you also, before you publish it, you got to proofread it. Recognize methods of composing specific open-ended questions for a research topic. So the main question of your research topic is the primary focus of the entire research project. The steps are to analyze the prompt, if there is a prompt or whatever it is that you have been told that you need to write about. And you have to figure out exactly what the prompt is asking you, and then specify the concern or whatever the issue is. Then you have to research the topic. That's basically do that preliminary research, and then you got to research it. You got to find reliable sources which give you the information on your topic, and then you have to find information that connects to the prompt, and then you have to decide what you want to know about the concern or the issue. And so then you narrow down the focus to a main question. So then you just use the information in the preliminary research to turn it into a question. Make the question about a sample group, or turn what you want to know into a um, specific concern into a question. Recognize methods of identifying and locating m- more than one different print and digital sources of information for a research topic. Understand the assignment, um, and brainstorm and develop a good topic idea, and locate research materials. These materials will help someone understand their topic and um, prepare a valid argument or explanation. You have to use the reference materials like encyclopedias, almanacs, or dictionaries to find quick facts about the topic. And then you have to use an academic journal. The journals have to be peer reviewed. And like if you were to use a magazine, magazines are not peer reviewed. They're written by journalists, and they're published for general audiences. Um, and they're not really well received for supportive documentation. Um, but books and ebooks, they're used for in-depth research, but um, don't usually have the most current information. And newspapers, that's where you're gonna find local information. And the statistics, you can use the census for statistics. That's a good example of where to find statistics. Recognize methods of assessing the credibility, objectivity, and reliability of sources and information. Evaluate the purpose of your research. So academic papers need to have credible and reliable resources, sources and worthy sources. General interest is up to you. Evaluate the research and that is based on the reliability, credibility, and worthiness. So reliability is the information presented has to be able to be repeated. Basic elements of reliability is the primary source, So original results of the experiment, like eyewitness accounts, legal documents, and the result of an experiment. And then a secondary source is somebody who writes about a primary source, like comments, discussions, and observations. And they can be found in magazines, journals, online articles, and academic journals. So the reliability of a source can be determined by two factors: recency and verifiability. The recency of the document is if it's been published in the last few years. If it's been published like in the last 10 or 12 years, it's not very recent at all. The verifiability of a document is that it's being peer reviewed, and that's very important. And other sources have confirmed that the information has been used as a reference in other sources. So the credibility can be determined by the author's credentials. So you should be able to find the author's credentials somewhere in the article. And then you can also research the author. Um, if the author has credentials in the field of the article, then you know that the research is credible. But if the author um, is a member of like some other organization that he's writing about, then it's probably biased. So it comes from an unbiased source. And what is the article's worth? The article has to be worth something. So in order to figure this out, you have to examine two factors in the worth of the source of the article: the sponsorship and if it's peer reviewed. The sponsorship is the organization that hosts the website, and then the institutes, the companies, the government organizations, and educational institutions are usually known to be worthwhile and credible sources. Um, but if you notice the professionalism of the website, one is not, if it won't be professional if there are ads that are popping up, and then two, if there are links that lead to nowhere, it's not very professional. But if it's peer reviewed, you can find periodicals that are peer reviewed, and they are reviewed for accuracy and soundness. And the validity of a source is the truthfulness of a source. Does the author provide citations for the source? Next time, we're going to talk about how to recognize methods of gathering and organizing relevant information for multiple authoritative print and digital sources, and assessing the usefulness of each of the sources and answering a research question and synthesizing information from various sources.